Hey there, and welcome. Over the next few minutes, we're going to dive into a really powerful, ancient toolkit, one that can completely transform your daily life. And it's all drawn from the wisdom of the world's most sacred traditions. You know that feeling, right? You wake up, and boom, you're immediately swept away by a flood of emails, notifications, and things you have to do. It feels like you spend the entire day just reacting, just trying to catch up. And by the end of it, you just collapse, totally drained. Well, what if there was another way? You know, the great wisdom traditions all kind of figured out the same secret. The quality of your day isn't really determined by what happens to you, but by how you meet it. They found that these tiny, intentional little acts can work like anchors, grounding us in a sense of purpose and peace. And when you do that, it completely changes your whole experience of time. Now, let's be clear, this isn't about any one religion. It's better to think of it as a kind of shared human technology for well-being. I mean, whether it's a Jewish morning prayer, a Buddhist breathing practice, or a Christian moment of reflection, they're all pointing to the exact same truth, that just a few moments of conscious attention can literally reshape your entire day. So where do we start? The morning. Let's be honest, this is often the most chaotic part of the day. How we spend those very first few moments really does set the tone for everything else that follows. All these traditions teach us to claim this time for ourselves, to find some clarity before the world's noise rushes in. So let's look at 3 super simple ways to anchor ourselves. What's really fascinating here is how these totally different practices all accomplish the same goal. You've got the Jewish prayer Modayani, which is often whispered before you even get out of bed, just thanking God for the return of your soul. Then there's the Christian morning offering, which dedicates all your thoughts and actions for the day to a higher purpose. And the Buddhist practice of Anapanasati, which is all about bringing mindful awareness to the simple act of breathing. Each one is a tiny habit for starting the day with intention, not reaction. And we're not talking about massive commitments here. Look, here's a 10-second practice that kind of combines all these ancient ideas. Before you grab your phone, this is key. Just place a hand on your heart, take 3 conscious breaths, and silently think, I am part of creation's unfolding. That's it. That's the whole thing. It's one tiny act that shifts you from being on autopilot to being truly present. Of course, that morning anchor, well, that's just the beginning. Because then, life happens, the chaos of the workday kicks in, unexpected challenges pop up, and it's so easy to get pulled off center. So how do we find our way back when the day starts to get overwhelming? Well, the answer isn't about escaping. It's about finding these little sacred moments right in the middle of our ordinary lives. And this just illustrates the whole idea perfectly. It's a core teaching in traditions like Zen Buddhism and even in Christian mysticism. The sacred isn't just in some special building or on a meditation cushion. It's available right here, right now, in the kitchen. When you bring your full, mindful attention to a mundane task, that task gets transformed into a powerful ritual of presence. The simplest and most powerful reset is the one that's always with you. It's your own breath. So here's a 60-second micro-habit that's inspired by countless traditions. Just pause, wherever you are. Inhale slowly for a count of 4, hold it for 4, and then exhale for 4. And as you exhale, just silently release one tension you're carrying. It's like a portable sanctuary you can build for yourself anytime, anywhere.
All right, so how we close the day is just as critical as how we begin it. If we don't have a conscious release, all the day's worries, frustrations, and all that unfinished business just follows us right into our sleep. And that means we don't get true rest, and we wake up already feeling tired and anxious for the next day.
I mean, the contrast here is pretty clear, right? A day that isn't consciously closed just stays open, and all that tension just leaks into the night. An evening ritual acts like a seal. And this is an ancient idea. You see it in practices like Judaism's Keshbon HaNefesh, which is like an accounting of the soul, and the Christian Examen. Both involve a gentle review of the day to find a sense of closure. This is a practice that can literally rewire your brain to move away from its natural focus on the negative. But, and this is the key, you have to be specific. Don't just say, I'm grateful for my family. Really notice the concrete sensory details. The warmth of the blanket on my legs, the actual taste of the tea, the sound of a colleague's laughter. This makes the gratitude real, and it rewires your focus toward the river of good things you're already living in. So here's the most important point in all of this. Transformation doesn't come from some grand, dramatic gesture. It comes from the faithful repetition of these small, sacred acts. It's the consistency that reshapes us, not the size of the act itself. So when you put it all together, what you have is this profound daily practice that takes less than 5 minutes. Seriously. A morning anchor to set your intention, a midday reset to find your center again, an evening release to bring in some peace, and just one daily task performed with your full mindful presence. That's a complete spiritual practice that can fit into absolutely anyone's schedule.
So look, this isn't just interesting information. It's an invitation. You don't have to do it all at once. Just choose one tiny anchor to ground your day. What's it going to be? The practice doesn't begin when you feel ready. It begins when you begin.